Well, it's time again for more video game pickups. Now, before I get into the pickups for this 5th installment, I want to talk about something that just recently happened. As some of you may or may not know, I post a lot of my videos up on screwattack.com for the G1 shows. I'm actually part of the suggested G1 shows. If you go there and go under reviews, you'll see the achievement board there. And the crew has actually been nice enough to post a few of my videos up there, being the Simpsons arcade achievement horror video and my top 10 most underrated video game songs. So, and they've been getting a lot of hits over there. So thank you guys so much for that. If you guys remember, a couple weekends ago, they had their 48-hour gaming marathon over on Twitch to raise awareness for SGC, their gaming convention they had a few years ago, but couldn't do due to financial reasons. But because of the Kickstarter, they have surpassed their goal of $100,000. They actually raised, I think, well over $120,000. So SGC 3 in 2013 is happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. And I am definitely going. Me and my buddy Remy are saving up our money. We are going. We don't know if we're going to be driving, because from where we are to Dallas, Texas, according to Google Maps, if we're going to believe that, it's a 38-hour drive. So 2 days straight of driving. It might be cheaper to drive. It'd be a hell of an adventure. But we might actually take some flights down, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep you posted on that. And also, I know it's not in, they're still planning their events and their guests. Actually, just check their Facebook fan page. They have already announced Parental Floss and James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, officially as guests. So they're becoming, I mean, you knew they were gonna come anyway. Hopefully they'll get Nathan Barnett, aka Keith Avocary, Ray Amsley, Trey Lewis. I hope he shows up, because I'm a big fan of Nathan Barnett, and I would love to meet him. I know that's not announced yet, but I'm officially throwing my hat in the ring for the Iron Man of Gaming 2013. I've got the consoles to practice on. Probably it, I might be able to actually get the games to practice on. So I'm gonna make it my mission to become the Iron Man of Gaming for 2013. So all of you other G1s out there who think you can take me down, get the practice and we'll see. Alright, so that's enough about SGC next year. Let's talk about the game pickups. First one out of the way. Saw it at my EB Games, might as well pick it up. I haven't owned it yet, and it's another PSP game I own. Finally, I've got Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles. I forgot the full title of it. But yeah, $10 and you get the PSP remake of Rondo of Blood, plus the original Rondo of Blood, plus the remake of Symphony of the Night, which I'm kind of interested to play, because I heard they did all the voiceovers over, which is kind of sad, because I love the cheesiness and I love the bad dialogue, the bad voiceover work. Now, this one's a Game Boy game. This one, I have to tell you a little story. At my local thrift shop, I generally go to the toy section, just because, you know, you'll find some props. I mean, if you see my vlog about thrift store shopping, I actually picked up the Dragon Dagger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for like $4. The reason it was $4 is because one of the buttons was broken, but it still works. It's a good prop. So I found this bag of Legos, maybe Mega Blocks, I'm not sure, priced at $30. And as I was sifting through it, I found a Game Boy game in there, belonging to someone named James McCabe. I have to take that off. But I'm not paying $30 just to get at a Game Boy game. So I unzipped it, because it was in a mattress or a comforter plastic case. So I unzipped it. I took the game out. I zipped it back up, and I'm like, all right, why don't I just take it out? I'll just tell him I found it somewhere, and he'll maybe charge me $4 or $5 for it. No biggie. So I took it up to him. I said, yeah, I found this lying around. And then he looked at me and he goes, oh, that was in a bag of Legos. I was just like, damn it. I didn't show it on my face. I was still kind of cool and just be like, well, yeah, well, you say that, but I say I found it here, so you need to let me pay for it, right? And then he goes, and then in my head, I'm still just like, oh, crap, he got me. He looked at me and he's like, I'll give it to you. So he didn't even charge me for it. So, and I looked at my girlfriend and Melanie, and I was like, "This is like a whole new type of shoplifting. the people help you." So yeah, and I think for free, this is a great deal. Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy, the original Kirby, which is interesting. If you plug this into a Game Boy Player for the GameCube or into a Game Boy Advance, actually turns Kirby pink. But I put this on my Super Nintendo and it just made him white. As default anyway. Okay, and if you saw my last pickups, you know that I picked up a Sega Genesis Model 1 for $7 with one controller, no hookups. I had audio video cables I had purchased years ago when I had a Model 2, but just had no, it wouldn't fit because it was a Model 1 AV cable. And through going through all my power supplies, I couldn't find one that had the right voltage. So I ended up finding a universal AC DC adapter, and with the right voltage, I got it to work. So, and what I actually ended up doing was I bought another AV cable thinking it was the AV cable. So I took it back to the record store I bought it from. They go ahead and give me cash for, value for it, so they just said, I'll just get something for $10 worth. So I was like, alright, fine. So I went through all the Sega Genesis games that they had there, and I picked up the Genesis 6-pack. This is such a great value for $10, because here's what's on here. You've got, and these are full games too, they're not demos. You've got Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 1, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, and Super Hang-On. That's pretty good for $6, or not for, the 6 games for $10. All packed into one game. That's pretty awesome. And my buddy and I started playing that, and oh yeah, I have over there, I can't show on camera, but I went to another pawn shop and ended up getting a 6-button Genesis controller for $10. But I don't have any games that utilize 6 buttons. So I took it over to my buddy's place and played some Street Fighter Championship Edition, and it works perfectly. I ended up kicking his ass. Now we're going to move on to Nintendo, and I think one of them was the deal of the day, or the deal of the video, I should say. But I'll leave it to you because I've got another one I think is pretty cool. First off, the store that I bought the AC adapter for the Genesis unfortunately closed down. And I kind of figured they were closing down because the initial title of the store, I think it was like Treasures and Trash, or Trash and Treasure, I can't remember which, they weren't doing really good business. But then a retail chain that used to be in town and then came back kind of took it over, and I think all they did was just sell up the excess stock. They were still taking in new items to sell, but they weren't taking in much, and I thank God that I actually got this last deal while I was there. And fans of the nerd will recognize this game, Mylon's Secret Castle, and I only paid $3 for it. It was rare at this store to see an NES game that wasn't golf or football or any other sports title. But yeah, that's the last I'll ever get of that store. Unfortunate, because when they did had stuff, it was really, really cheap. And now the deal of the week. And I actually posted this on my Twitter in response to Billy's tweet about, his tweet about finding Super Noah's Arc 3D for $5 at a flea market. Loose, but yeah, he did find one. So I went, your move, good sir, because I picked this up for $10, and that is Ninja Gaiden 3: The Ancient Ship of Doom. Oh man, I can't believe that this was posted up on Kijiji, and I can't believe this guy let it go for $10. It works perfectly. Actually though, but I do think that someone tried to get at it because you can see little indentations in the screw holes, and I think those are brand new screws in there, if I'm not mistaken, or I think someone tried to get at it. The cartridge, like the actual circuit board, is a little loose, but I have no problems with it. $10 and maybe a little bit of label damage, but still, this game's hard to find. And when you can find it, it's pretty expensive. So, and I just realized I got the whole trilogy for $30 or less, so I'm pretty happy about that. Alright, next up, we're moving on to N64. Same thrift shop for $4 a piece. Yeah, these I don't know if they were $4 or $5 a piece. I can't really remember now, but I couldn't pass these up because this one actually is hard to find. Command and Conquer for the Nintendo 64. Remember when they said that you can't do RTSs on console? They meant this game. Halo Wars on 360 wasn't that bad, I didn't think, but yeah. And the next Nintendo 64 game is a little dirty, but it's Star Wars Rogue Squadron. And there's a lot of black marks here, a little dirt here, and then there's like a lot of like old labels. I think this was an old Blockbuster cartridge. But thanks to Rue from Clan of the Great Wolf, I've learned that if you just buy some of these Mr. Clean Magic Erasers, this will actually take off a lot of permanent markers that people write on these games. So I'm going to go through all my old cartridges, find out who marked on them, and clean them up. I actually have the 61-1 card was marked on by my record store, so I'm going to actually take that off. Finally, the deal. I think this one will be considered the deal of the video. This, I don't own the console for it, but I saw this at a local pawn shop. I couldn't pass it up. This is a box copy of 3 Sega Saturn games: Virtual Fighter 2, Virtual Cop, and Daytona USA. I got this for $5. And yeah, it's like I said, I don't own a Saturn. I've never owned a Saturn, but I'm actually in the process of getting one. There's a local pawn shop that has one with no cables for 20. He asked for it, but he swore he has the cables. And I gave him my name and number. He's gonna look for the cables. If he can find them, he's gonna call me back and say, "Hey, I found the cables. $60, $60." And he said he swears to God it works. So I'm gonna hold him to that. And I'm gonna take these in and be like, "All right, you say it works. Let's test it out." There is a guy on Kijiji selling one for $80, but I think that's a little bit too much. Even though it comes with a light gun and a couple of other games, I prefer to spend less money. So yeah, that's Game Pickups 5 and my announcement for I'll be attending SGC next year and throwing my hat into the ring for Iron Man of Gaming 2013. And I'm gonna win it. So we'll see you next time.